we bypass this phase because uh, perhaps you were keenly interested, but in this last 3 years, as we have been going from place to place, we find that this is a big burden, this is a big hurdle. Uh, Big centers also are hesitating to start a ECMO program because the ECMO organization or the ECMO department or the ECMO team is a big investment, a big cost before it starts launching itself. So, how to do it means that aspect, as we say that ECMO is a combination of so many things, and then the ECMO to begin has to have a lot of preparation. It cannot be applied immediately as one starts thinking. So I was just thinking that every place has to think many factors from man and machine, and the inventory and the patient and the finances and the logistics and the outcome, and of course then innovation and then planning and then development and research. That is how every center would grow. Otherwise it will be only a 1 point program and a sort of a window to a outside world, and then the end of the matter. As we know, ECMO is a fusion between man and machine, and man behind the machine, that is the ECMO specialist, is the key figure between success and failure. So if there is lot of finances, it can support lot of people, and if every administration wants to just have a idea or they want to have an introduction to the topic, then it has to be a person. The capacity of a person is endless. We can make things from impossible to a possibility. So that I feel, and one godfather, one person from any hospital or any department, he can turn the world around. So if you want to develop an ECMO program, identify a person, mark that person, and he has to live ECMO, eat ECMO, drink ECMO, and die ECMO.
He has to be a fanatic.
He has to be a fanatic. That person will grill your department, then he will have followers. He is the leader, and the leader is only a single person. There are not many leaders. There cannot be many leaders. So if you want to run an ECMO program in your center or develop an ECMO program in your hospital, you have to mark a person. He will be an ECMO specialist. He has to have interest. Nothing, no qualification is required. What is required is interest. He may be a staff nurse, but then he is after everybody. He learns many things. He will even cannulate. In emergency, if you don't have a cardiovascular people to assist you, he is seeing things. He is jack of all. He is preparing himself for each and every assistance required from each and every department, and he is a makeshift arrangement to do things in the right manner at the right time. So this is very important. He is a perfusionist, he is a staff nurse. Of course, he is a limitation of knowledge. He cannot become a intensivist, but if you have an ECMO specialist who is an intensivist, then he can go this side and that side. He can be a super consultant and he can be a perfusionist. And he has knowledge about medicine, so he can apply things properly. Why a perfusionist cannot become a good ECMO specialist? Because again he has got a limitation of internal medicine knowledge, so he would not be able to pick up the clinical scenario of the patient. Nothing is a rule. There's nothing is a rule. Only interest is the main concern. If a person is interested, over a period of time he would shape up and he would run the department. He would be having all the information from A to Z of the department to the survival of the patient, and then he is mindful about each and everything. He knows the logistics and the hardships of maintaining a particular aspect of a ECMO department, and he is tuning that up. He is coordinating everything. Then he will have helpers. He will have his own people behind, under him, who will be developing, and he will be coordinating with the seniors. As I was talking in the beginning of my ECMO introduction, that ECMO is a step-up sequence. You begin with an ECMO amateur, you become an ECMO professional, and you finally think of becoming an ECMO stalwart. As the machine is also important in an ECMO, and every ECMO amateur is a 50% perfusionist. So you have to, if perfusionist science take at least 1 year for them to train about the various aspects of machinery and handling them, you will require at least some weeks to get an idea. So you have to be a perfusionist, and you are critical care nurse in beginning, where you are coordinating everything, you are seeing things are perfect, you are not causing iatrogenic damage to the patient, and you are trying to fuse a man and machine. Then as you do more ECMOs, the machine parts goes less and the patient conditions takes an upper hand. You are only in 10% perfusionist and a 90% intensivist. And then you become the stalwart when you are into translational research and development. But that is not for everyone. So at the moment, you may feel it is just a gamble. It is just a gamble. Means if you put a patient, literally speaking, the biggest inertia we find is among our fellow beings. If a patient is advised ECMO, he takes an opinion from two of his known medical personnel. They would say, never heard of, do not know. It may work, it may not work. So at the moment, to everybody's mind, initially, or people who are not seen ECMO, it is a game of dice. It is a gamble. You may do it to a perfect gymnastics. Means you have got a proper control of everything. That is the difference between your volume of work. As you keep on doing ECMO, your experience keeps on increasing. You become more confident to take up more challenges, and then you convert failure into success. The doctors from the city of Bombay, we were the ECMO team there, and she had some ARDS like situation. Probably it was cardiac, non-cardiac. She was first wheeled into the cath lab and angiography was done, and then it was all planned that okay, the SATs are not maintaining and she's a candidate for ECMO. They had 10 people on mobiles across the globe talking to all the ECMO specialists from Australia to America, and we were for 2 hours giving answers to all the consultants from across the globe. Yes, ECMO is indicated on that patient. Work done. Okay, ECMO to be done. Sit down. Sign on the consent. The moment they heard that that can be so many complications, they said no. We do not want to do ECMO. ECMO called off. Patient survived somehow. That is not the issue. But that is what is the ignorance in our people. Then it has to go to patient's information and then final and ECMO. So that is what is ECMO. It is basically once you look at the complication rate, everybody would feel why to do ECMO. But if more than 50,000 population has undergone ECMO and with a survival, average survival rate of about 60%, the figure speaks for themselves. So again, as we have to progress and improvise, the sophistication levels of ECMO ranges from bare minimum to satisfactory to optimal level. The globe is there, from Africa to America. People are born, people survive, people live, and people die. Similarly, you will not become a state-of-the-art ECMO center in overnight. You will develop from many mistakes to a minimum level to a satisfactory level and to an optimum level. So minimum level, as I said, we are still struggling to have a minimum level. The inventory hardware is not there. Then to satisfactory and optimum level, once you yourself feel confident of handling the patient, you are prepared, your ECMO inventory, ECMO team is grilled up, and you are able to deliver yourself effectively. You yourself, that is a self-satisfaction, the satisfactory level of ECMO. Optimal level of ECMO, we cannot even think of at the moment. As I said, an ECMO specialist is the godfather. It is not only the commitment of the patient, of a person, it is the attitude of the person. That is most important. From worst case scenario to best outcome, the attitude changes the scenario, not the armamentarium. So, an ECMO specialist struggles till the last chance. That is most important. The patient is collapsing. Excuse me. Patient is collapsing. Everybody feels that he will not die. You are applying ECMO as the last resort. At the last resort, even if you have applied, you will not get split second responses. Either ये button दबाया उधर machine चालू हो गया. नहीं. You will have a delay. You will have a time lag. You may not get one-to-one response. Then you have to wait. You have to be patient. In that situation, you should see what to do, when to do, how much to try again. and sometimes there's a delayed response, which I will cover later on. But that is the basic first quality of an ECMO specialist, is he struggles to the last chance. That firefighting, that daredevil attitude is a must. Otherwise, if you are yourself depressed and if you get affected by the scenario or maybe no response, then half of your energy is not getting a start only. You not do efforts only. And I will say that we are into critical care, and we have found there are no responses. On ECMO also, initially there may be no response, but if we are persistent and diligent and wise, intelligent, there is a turnaround. There's a turnaround. You have to be just persistent and patient. So, as I was talking, that what is this profession? ECMO specialist is a profession, is a specialized profession, and it is like top of the hill. There will be not much competition if you become an ECMO specialist, like what we have been seeing. People want to become an ECMO center, but they are not becoming an ECMO center because of the tediousness and the hard work required. So if you become an ECMO specialist, you have a niche for yourself, you have a place for yourself for some years to come. Just comparing the amount of commitment required, a physician is like traveling in an aircraft. Everything is very rosy, cozy, everything. There is no its and buts. You are comfortable. An intensivist is like driving in a car. You are driving in the car, you make mistakes, but there are people all around. Still, you don't get hurt because you are protected by the car. So even if the bad patients come to an ICU, even you make a mistake, you say the patient was serious. You get an escape. A cardiologist is like driving a motorbike. If you make a mistake, you will get hurt. You make a procedure bad in the cath lab, you are to be blamed. An ECMO specialist is like a rope walker. He is holding the patient like a band of wood and he is walking on the rope. So if you want to become a ECMO specialist, you have to be ready for your profession. You have to be a rope walker. You cannot say it is middle of the night. You can't say I am tired. You can't say you call others, and you can't say I am not responsible. You are responsible for everything. So those who want to become an ECMO specialist have to be ready for this profession. You have to be a rope walker. So that is the commitment required. I am not trying to frighten you, but I am trying to tell you, otherwise you will go half the way and you find the road is not good. But the scenario is like that. If you love this job, enter into an ECMO specialist. If you do not love this job, then don't become an ECMO specialist. It's a teamwork. Finally, one person is the godfather. I agree to it. But he cannot be available all the time and around the clock. He will have supporters. But all the supporters in the team have to be committed. It has to be an organized teamwork. That is very important. If you are not organized, even if you are a team, they will make mistakes. There will be time delays. There will be lack of coordination. It will be a problem. So that is important. Thus, an ECMO specialist has got passion, commitment, dedication, patience, intelligence, hard work, discipline, coordination, teamwork, and systematic. This is what is important. Your ECMO specialist is the godfather, but the team is also very important. The people in the team may be less, but they are committed. They are organized, they are synchronized, and they are ready to work. Then the work divides. Then you find good 2 people under you, then you find another 4 people under you, and then you divide the work. You have a protocol, you have a program. You cannot run an ECMO program haphazardly. It is lot of thinking. Means every ECMO center has got a manual. Every ECMO center has got their protocols. Every ECMO center has their own innovative circuit diagram and design. And even abroad there are simulation programs and electronic IT industry behind them to do a scenario run for the patient, for the team, so that they synchronize their muscles and nerves. They have to synchronize how to act fast, how to do effectively, how to do a better job. So abroad, where they have funds, they have all those aspects. But initially, if we talk about only clinical scenario in our country, a committed ECMO specialist and an organized team under him. Because ECMO specialist also can be alert, but for 1 day, 2 days, he cannot be alert for 7 days. So a team under him may work for part time, but then it helps him to relax. So these are his properties. He has under him an ECMO technician or assistant, perfusionist, respiratory therapist, critical care nurse, intensivist. These are the people along with him or under him, and then there are people above him, which are cardiac surgeons, other consultants, and associated infrastructure of the hospital, like operation theaters, other machines, and the laboratories. So he is the center figure. He is coordinating people under him and above him. Thus, an ECMO organization consists of an ECMO director, ECMO directors, co-directors. Blood bank in charge is one of the co-directors, because in a surgical ECMO you may require 8 to 10 units of blood per day. If you do not have a cooperative blood bank in charge, then your program will not run. Then you will suddenly find you're short of blood products, and then it will be a mess. Counselor, medical legal cell advisor, financial advisor, social worker, cardiothoracic personnel, because ultimately it is lines and vessels. So you may have accident sometime. So you require a cooperative cardiothoracic department for you, and an intensivist and ICU in charge. If the ICU is not able to give a proper support, then how will you maintain all the parameters, asepsis required for the patient? So in an ECMO organization, the main director and co-directors should have a panel of 4 or 5 people involving the respective departments. Then there are ECMO specialists or a trainer. You can have one ECMO specialist. You can have more ECMO specialists if the volume of work is more. But that depends on if they want to again divide the work. We are ready to slog for 12 hours, 16 hours, 18 hours. But abroad it is 4 hours, 6 hours. And then they work only 4 days a week, 3 days they are not there. So a minimum ECMO team abroad comprises of 20 persons. Whereas a minimum ECMO team in India comprises of a single ECMO specialist to 4 people and then to 9 people. Because if you have got 2 ECMO runs accidentally, one is going on and another comes, at least you have to have a backup of 2 ECMO runs. So as the program progresses, you have to have a 1 key person and then 4 persons and then 9 persons. The ECMO department will run, the salary would run only when there is more ECMOs. So you have to simultaneously, you have to have more ECMOs, then only the department would improve, the department would increase, and the department will become effective. So other people required for this are an ECMO specialist, perfusionist, respiratory therapist. If you have a cardiothoracic department, a perfusionist is not a problem, but in a critical care, respiratory therapist, critical care nurse, biomedical engineers, physiotherapists, consultants, and physician intensivists, they become part of the core team which is required to manage a patient. Now at ECMO organization, the same thing I was telling. It is the same thing. Level 1 is the director level, level B is the core ECMO team, and level C is the associated department like pulmonology department, nephro department, and other allied specialties which may be required time to time to help you to deal with certain specific situations. An ECMO specialist is in the center of everybody. He is coordinating people under him, with him, and over him. What other than the ECMO, not only to manage the patient, what is further required is the technology, the timing, the cost factor, the management, and the coordination. Other than managing the patient itself. And patient is in the center of the ECMO. Here we have a medical management, we have a social and financial management, and we have a hospital support. As I said, that it's a slow learning curve. Initial 10 cases will be a loss. That loss, once the patient is no more, the finances are not recovered. The finances are not recovered, then there is a question from the management that what are you doing? Is it necessary? Should we abandon this procedure? So that has to be have. There has to be a very supportive atmosphere or cooperation from the higher management who are looking at the cost, benefit, and the output, because you will lose patients in the beginning. To avoid this, there is a shortcut which I will be coming later on, but otherwise the learning curve is like this only. You are doing everything, but somehow if there are 4, 5, 6 people under you, or if one makes a mistake, it is a loss of everybody. So that is how it is important. Therefore, if there is one accident, the other 3 aspects, the hemispheres around the patient should be willing to extend the support. Now, as the perseverance of an ECMO specialist, that is very important. ECMO is at the last resort. The body reserves are exhausted. You do not get one-to-one response, and you have applied a step, additional support, and then you are waiting for the results. That is how we find things. They will the patient is bad, he is on ECMO, he starts improving, there's a gradual recovery, no tragedy, no regrets. Win-win situation, every day is a better situation, very happy. Okay. Level B, the patient is very bad, not maintaining, unstable, intermittent junks, waxing and waning of the course. He's all fine, but you start feeling there's a sepsis coming in, and that is dropping the blood pressure, that is dropping the saturation, jerky course. But you give antibiotics, they have the time to have 2-3 shots of antibiotics, then the patient starts improving. You feel okay, that is better. Inconsistent recovery, there are few tragedies, regrets, finances are a big hurdle, but hope keeps on going. That is very important. Once you find, okay, the patient has now gone into sepsis and there are a lot of cultures coming positive, now it's end the story. Stop, nothing is going to work. No, even if it is sepsis, we have seen waves of sepsis and prolonged ECMO. One sepsis recovered, another sepsis recovered, third sepsis recovered. You keep on going. Finances get burned, but that is level B. If not all patients will have this level B course, but if say 10% of the ECMO runs goes into level B, and if there are finances, because still ECMO is only for the elite class at the moment in India, because insurance and government is not supporting it. As I said, Taiwan government is the national program of patient going on ECMO. The government funds it. There they do not have to look for ECMO. Here if your patient goes on ECMO, the finance department has no clause like ECMO. The insurance department has got no clause like ECMO. So it is a totally self-funded procedure at the moment, and that is our biggest hurdle. So once we will enter into level B, it should be only for affording patient, because non-affording patient would not be able to sustain the financial problems in level B. Then level C, patient is worst. There is a less than minimum of optimal response, and the patient is deteriorating. There is a downhill course, only regrets, no response. You keep on doing things, and many a times the hope is also at the receiving end. But you have done things, you don't find anything improving on the same day, the next day the patient starts improving. So hope and waiting diligent for a delayed response is another the two features in ECMO, which you may not get one-to-one response because the reserves are all exhausted. There will be a delayed response. That perseverance and persistence of a ECMO specialist is important, because if you say it's okay, that's the end of the story. Then all the efforts gone has got no rewards. But even if you are not yourself confident, then also give time, wait. The patient will respond. Thus, every placenta has an ECMO. The ECMO appears simpler, and it is a bridge, and there are 3 levels. Leave this. So our Indian scenario. Come to our Indian scenario. What are the difficulties in our side? Ignorance, indications, finances, timely decisions, immediate action, competence, transport, and long-term management. These are our difficulties for running an ECMO program. Okay, this is the important slide. What are the hurdles we are facing? See, there are hospitals, fewer cardiac hospitals, fewer non-cardiac hospitals. Cardiac hospitals at least have a 50% boost, because cardiothoracic personals and the armamentarium, perfusionists and the machinery and the disposables are there in the cardiothoracic department. So they don't have to invest into their inventory, it is already there. So cardiac centers can definitely have more convenience. Then large and small volume centers, that is very important. If there are at least 1 ECMO or 2 ECMO going on throughout the weeks or maybe most of the part of the month, then even if you are not training others, people are learning by passive exposure, passive experience. That is a very important thing. So the people in large volume centers will learn better, because they are getting a passive observation science. So they are learning how you are doing practically. If there is no ECMO for 1 month, 2 months in your center, then even you will lose your confidence, and how are you going to train your juniors? So that is the important thing. For that, simulation and wet drills and electronic stimulations are there, which we will be covering in the afternoon. But for that, again, the ECMO specialists should have that competence to keep on training, to keep on doing a journal club, and to keep on improving the knowledge. that is important. So a perfusionist or not is a very important component in the initial part of the ECMO program. Later down the line, once you have mastered the circuits, then maybe a perfusionist is not essential, but if he is there, he is a big help. Organization versus an individual, because it is a big cost, it is a big infrastructure requirement, and many specialties are involved, and time is involved. So an individual planning to do an ECMO is not feasible. Means we have had requests from anesthetists and physicians that they want to become an ECMO specialist, and then they can become a floating consultant, that okay, they are ECMO specialist, but that would not work. Means we are also going from place to place, but then we carry our team, because even the very good assistant from other hospitals would not understand your intricacies. So we also are going at least 5 to 10 days a month outside our hospital, doing ECMOs all across our country, but we go with our team. So individual cannot do all 24 hours a day for 7 days a week. He has to sleep for some time. So you require a team. An individual is very important. There's a learning curve. However theory you may read. I said in an ECMO 90% is theory, 9% is observation, 1% is practical. So there is a learning curve. Even if you read all the theory, you will make mistakes initially. Then social issues are there regarding finances, regarding outcome, individual wisdom, again varies independently. So that again is an important factor. And constraints of infrastructure, machine, availability, finance, and all those things are there. I'm sorry. Okay, 1 second. We started the ECMO Society of India basically to introduce more ECMO centers, to form a platform for ongoing CME, to make an ECMO registry. As I said, if we don't have our statistics, we will not learn from others' mistakes. So whatever ECMO we do, whatever centers make a mistake, if it is properly registered, then we will have, then you will not be, however much we struggle. At the moment, we are not doing more than 20 to 25 ECMOs a year. When we are traveling across the country, then what do we expect any center at any given city would do how many ECMOs? They can do more ECMOs, I don't deny. Means cardiac, extra bypass, cardiopulmonary support ECMO are done at surgical centers, but I am talking about medical ECMOs. So you have a limited, we are running from pillar to post to improve our experience and wisdom. So every center will have limitation. They will not be more than 10 cases a year. So you have to learn from others' mistakes. So there should be a good registry. Every case done, every part of the country should register the problem, what mistake they made, what was the outcome. So from this statistical data, what ELSO is doing, we have to have our Indian registry. Because again, as you saw the ELSO registry, it was a heterogeneous data from Africa to America, from new centers to very old centers, and doing only pediatric ECMO or all the ECMOs. So if you compile all the data, the figures will not match to your scenario. So you have to have your statistics. That statistics will help you to learn from others' mistakes. And that should be your first aim, to have an ECMO registry of India. So we have our data, that what are the problems we are facing, what is the infrastructure we have, and what are the mistakes we are making. So what should be the protocols for doing a particular thing. That thought process and planning should be ongoing, and that will build up gradually. To initiate more frequent ECMO specialist training sessions, because this ECMO conference is not for others, it is for own self. Everywhere abroad, wherever we have gone to around 6-7 centers in various parts of the globe, and they run their ECMO conferences program to train their own in-house people. They do not run ECMO conferences to train people from India. They have a 20 personnel in the department, which is a migrating population. Nobody is committed. So they may have a floating population. Some people will join, they will learn something, some people will leave. So at least they have protocols that 2 to 3 ECMO conferences has to be done at their own hospital to train their in-house people. Therefore, they conduct ECMO conferences. In that bargain, other places which do not have dedicated ECMO programs, they join their centers to train their personnel. So similarly, these ECMO conferences should be more frequent and there should be better participation. And instead of the head of the ECMO team coming there, he should bring his complete team, because the team will get this 3 days, 5 days of input which they would not get otherwise from their own hospital. So a team participation of hospital is required for at least 2 ECMO conferences a year. On that grounds, we started our June conference, which we do every year, that is only dedicated to only training, irrespective of any national conferencing happening or not happening. So that is the part which should be done. Now there is another conference on regional international conference of SWAC, that is Southwest Asia chapter of ELSO, which is a group of South Asia and the Middle Asia, all Arab countries and the SAARC countries. They have been grouped into a particular region, and it is happening in Hyderabad from 28th January to 2nd February. And the best part is there are 11 international speakers, 7 has confirmed. Means if we are speaking loud and wide after doing 150 cases, there are people who have done more than 1000 cases, and their experience is phenomenal. So if we have a faculty of 7 international speakers or ECMO coming in India, that is for the first time, that is in the next month, January. So if you want to go ahead further in your ECMO experience and exposure, you should go to attend that conference. And we should have a central web-based data on the lines of international registry. So that was all about ECMO organization. Then a very important thing came about the cost, competence, outcome, types of patient. That was keep on going on. But at the center, I do not want to unnecessarily speak about anyone or myself, but I feel your confidence is the central pole which can turn the table. What I had the confidence in 2006 and what I have a confidence now is hell of a difference. Today's type of patient, what we are handling, managing patient on, even cannulating patient on CPR and giving them outcome, was an impossibility for me in 2006. So that would bring down cost. Your competence will bring down cost, will have innovations. That innovations will redistribute or change the force of action according to your conditions, and that will help you to reduce cost and improve outcome. And again, the outcome, if you are competent, your results will be better. So therefore I said one die-hard person is required, an ECMO specialist who has got keen interest. He will churn the entire system. So in cost consideration also, if you have a good competence, you will decrease cost. But till late, University of Michigan, the pioneer Robert Burlard had an obsession that he would do ECMO only on roller pumps. Till 2011, after he got retired from the department switched over to centrifugal levitronic pumps after his retirement. But from 1975 to 2011, that department insisted ECMO on only roller pumps, which the rest of the globe had switched over to centrifugal pumps as early as 1990. So that is what. So if you do not have a dedicated ECMO machine in your department, even one of the motor units of your heart-lung machine, of your cardiothoracic unit, is an ECMO machine for you. And on that machine, the best of the centers in America had been hosting the flag for more than 25 years. So don't tell that we do not have a machine. Don't tell that this thing is not available. You can do things from the minimum scratch. Only you should have the interest. You may not be in the best of the situations, but all commandos and all fights are won by worst case scenarios also. There is not a red carpet welcome for success. It is a fight for hits and trials. Means China, Taiwan, east part of the state. The only company available there is Medtronics, which is obsolete in rest of the globe. In India also, till 2009-10, only machine available was Medtronics. We did most of our ECMO learning on Medtronic machines. So still in China and Taiwan, they are doing 1,000 cases a year highest volume against rest of the globe. There is only Medtronic machine. So if you say our infrastructure is not good or we are not equipped, then it is an inertia of the mind. Means if you say not what if is there? If you have some higher pressures in the roller pump, or there is an possibility of a tube rupture, what is the percentage? What is the percentage? Means 1 out of 1,000 cases on the longer run, when the roller pump churns over the tube, it can cause a raceway rupture. 1 out of 1,000 cases, but 2,000 is Ecmo before that. So cost constraint is an issue, but only issue to confused minds, not to intelligent minds. You have your own system. You know what are your assets, what are your difficulties. You see this will be used, this will be used. Use innovation. Build up your system. Start doing Ecmo. Everybody cannot afford White House of America. There are people living in maybe mud in Africa and in slums in India. They are also surviving. So also, if your Ecmo program is not best of the lot, so what? Start doing Ecmo. You will have, and start doing on maybe non-affording population. Give them a chance. They would also otherwise die. You do Ecmo, they will still die, but you will learn, you will benefit. You are not doing an experiment on them. You are trying to help them. They would not help themselves. You use your infrastructure. You would reduce on cost. Try to imagine the entire circuit, the plastic tubing of a Ecmo circuit is less than a plastic of a bucket. Cost 1,25,000. For what? For what? Plastic tubings, connectors. If you go and get them made through some plastic manufacturer in a local market, he will give you in 5 rupees, 10 rupees. But I am not coming to that low figures. Do meaningful. The established cardiopulmonary bypass department has got all the armamentarium of tubings and connectors which they are using in every every open heart surgery. What you require is a pump, the console, and the oxygenator. Because we feel because they are circuits for microcirculation, they can get occluded. So we do not want to make a mess. So take a new oxygenator, take a new pump, disposable, use all the connectors, tubings, and the catheters and the cannula disposable, ETO them. Because I am still telling, if I have to go on a step-up mechanism of introducing a 31 size French cannula in any patient, the dilators has to be reused, because they give only one dilator for a 31 French cannula. How I am going to pass a 31 French dilator over a wire? So I have to go step up. So even if I am using a new catheter, the process before introducing a new catheter is an Oxford reuse of dilators from other catheters. So when you are doing this in a New York procedure only, so very well for your non-affording patient, why can't you use tubings and connectors and catheters and cannula for doing an Ecmo run? Because unless you have volumes, you will never grow up. You have to have volumes before becoming confident. So you have absolute affording patient, and you have partial affording patient. There is some funding from the hospital, and you have non-affording patients. Only bottom line is take an indicated patient. That is the only indication. There are indicated patients. Means I firmly believe at least in a month's time there is at least one patient per month per hospital in any given city of India. So there are 50 hospitals in city of Delhi. At least there are 50 patients of Ecmo every month to be done which are dying. So in that matter, if you have divided into your program into 3 groups, for non-affording patients or partially affording patients or fully affording patients, you can do Ecmo in very minimum cost to the total cost, whatever you feel like. So don't say only the best, only the best, only the best. That is a wrong attitude. With only the best means you will be the least. You will not be able to do them. Only the best means 1 out of 100. So means you will do only one Ecmo. So increase your volume. Have flexible policies. Have all the Oxford things. Reuse. Then only your volumes will grow. Talk about the cost. This is what is the cost. Means it ranges from 50. If I do not talk of all these innovations also, And if I talk of only what is available as far as the market price tag of components in the Indian market, in Indian industry, then also an initiation of ECMO. Again, where is the cost involved? The cost is involved in procuring machines. The cost is involved in making your manpower sensible. The cost is involved in disposables, and the cost is involved in maintenance. This is what is the cost involved. So if I say there is no cost for the machines because your cardiothoracic department has already got a machine. If they say the cost of the manpower can be reduced if you do not call people from outside, if your hospital is already trained, then probably you have reduced the cost to minimum. Then the disposable cost from reuse to maybe the lower end of the disposable available in the market, even as a New York material, then also you reduce the cost. So